Well, hello there. It is time for my introduction of the Gran Turismo series games. At this particular moment I am playing Gran Turismo 6, but I do plan to play Gran Turismo 5 in the future, and in some long way of future I might even play whatever Gran Turismo coming up next. It's might be likely if it's released on PlayStation 3, if it's released on PlayStation 4. It's also pretty likely because there are a lot of good games coming out on PlayStation system, and I might upgrade in the future. Either way, I started playing Gran Turismo games in 2012. I started with Gran Turismo 5. I just about quit StarCraft, and I was looking for something else. And as it happened, I found a thread on Team Liquid, and Team Liquid is, and at the time it was predominantly StarCraft based site. Nowadays they have all kind of things for Dota and League of Legends and all the other good stuff, but back in the day it was StarCraft only. So to my surprise I found a thread on Team Liquid about GT Academy, and GT Academy was a competitive racing trials, I would say. It's not like a league, just a competitive racing trials where the winner goes to Silverstone and races in real life against other people for a chance to be entered into a Nissan program. The most successful Nissan graduates have been to Le Mans. They have produced great results in Le Mans. In 24 Hours of Dubai is another one, big one that Gran Turismo Academy graduates go to. I think they won their class in Dubai. I think Ardones might have won his class in LMP2, I'm not sure. He finished pretty well, podium at least, I think. And there is also Martin Bro. I think he's the son of a famous British football player, so he's not a poor man. He sort of got kicked out of academy as they downsized it, and he's showing successful results in Formula 3, I believe. I mean Renault Formula 3. Either way, yeah, it's not about, the introduction is not about fate of GT Academy and its graduates, but the thing is that, yeah, Academy is a serious thing, and the prizes at the time only Brian Highcotter was the only GT Academy graduate. He sort of was out of public eye. Since then they have cut a lot of drivers, and you know, the scale in general seems to be downsized, although there are more countries involved now. Either way, at the time it really seemed like an amazing opportunity, because all the people who, apart from Brian, who graduated were showing tremendous results. There were some people who didn't actually graduate, who were hired by Nissan for various public outreach and stuff like that. So it was an amazing opportunity. So me being a StarCraft player, I thought to myself, I can do this, because as a StarCraft player you have a lot of discipline. You know how to play a lot, you know how to commit to things, you know how to analyze your mistakes. And long story short, I sucked. I think I ended like pretty well. I mean, I didn't entirely flop, but I was nowhere near top 16 that required to get into GT Academy. I think I was like top 250, something like that. Maybe outside of top 250, I'm not sure. But yeah, it surprised me how different racing actually was, because as a good StarCraft player I knew for sure from experience as well that if I jump into a different game I will be good at that game as well, with possible exceptions of shooters. So I thought that certainly if I commit to this and if I practice a lot, which I did so much that my carpal tunnel syndrome got worse, so maybe that's where I got it, because I was using a steering wheel and you know, the force feedback is a powerful thing when you do it like 8 hours a day. So the surprising issues that I encountered were that well, it was very different. Racing was very different from, you know, it's not it was even more different from StarCraft than, you know, shooters were. I couldn't just jump in and just feel comfortable. That was the first thing that I found. The other thing I found is how hard it is actually to analyze your mistakes in racing when you have no experience. When you play StarCraft, you have this access to other person's replays, and you know everything that they do, and you can copy it. The main bottleneck in StarCraft was always multitasking. For me, I guess when you get to high enough level, strategies become more important. Well, I guess it's hard to say because of other issues, but I'm not gonna get into them. But the thing is that, you know, you can watch replay as long as you have enough APM to copy it. Even if you don't have enough APM, you can copy it approximately, and you get it. You will do well. In sim racing, there are so many aspects that it is hard to copy what somebody else is doing. There are more inputs than simple mouse and keyboard. There is there is steering wheel axis, there is brake pedal axis, there is throttle axis, and there is obviously, you know, gearing. There is setups. A lot of setups were shared, and in GT Academy setups were, you know, standard for everyone. But when you're practicing and you don't have someone else's setup, it's already something different from them, and setups are really shared. And there are different like techniques to how you combine all your inputs to get it, you know, achieve something. And yeah, it's not something you can see for yourself. Even if someone uploaded a video with them showing their pedals and steering wheel, it's not that hard, it's not that easy to process it all as a combined action that you need to be doing. As I found out, it's just something that you need to let your brain process. You cannot force yourself to become good at racing by doing 8 hours a day. Yes, you will find seconds, but you won't be as good as the other guy without a lot of experience. And not only that, that in StarCraft it doesn't change. You always Zerg, you always Terra, and you always Protoss. In this sim racing environment, a different car, a different track, and if you just copied someone blindly, you're as lost as you were before, because you know how to do, you know, this particular track and this particular car with this particular setup well, and you know, this combination, how to do this combination well. But the second the challenge becomes something else, you need to copy something again. So racing is such a thing where you can't really copy. You have to be patient, you have to wait, and you have to hope that your brain processes it. And from my experience, I mean, it's been already 4 years and I'm not particularly good. And that's also the funny thing, that I constantly get better, and I can, like, I took a huge break, like several years break from Gran Turismo series, and I came back, and because I was doing iRacing, I feel that I am better. Like, all the license tests are easy for me now. I am better, but I'm still not good, and that is the thing, that it just takes such long time, and because of the hardship of copying someone else. The best approach I found, for me at least, is to just let it go and let your brain process it, because your brain, subconscious or whatever, it's a great analytical machine. And whenever I would just, instead of doing it 8 hours a day, whenever I would do it patiently, play this day 2 hours, then play on Friday 2 hours or something like that. As long as I take break, as long as I have a healthy approach to life, and you go to work, you go to gym, and then you do some racing. As long as I was doing that, that was like when I was showing the most improvement. But to be honest, it was also true of StarCraft. Always better after a break. Always you need to let your brain analyze what's happening. And yeah, so I was surprised at how difficult GT Academy was. And yeah, I did a lot of GT Academy, then I took a break. I always, like, that was one of my issues. I always would burn out, and then I couldn't practice. I would have to take a long break. So 2013 came. 2013 came, and I was looking forward to doing some GT Academy again, and I was getting in shape, because one of the some of the challenges of GT Academy are physical. So I was doing a lot of cycling. I was doing cycling like twice a day. I was getting into shape, because I feel like GT Academy is a great motivator for me. There is like a deadline, and it gets me, makes me get things done. So I was one day cycling. There was some sand. I slipped on sand and I broke my leg, and I couldn't do 2013. Then 2014 came. I did a lot, and if you see in my stats, in my GT6 stats, if you see the most race track would be Spa, in something like 2500 miles. It's because it was included in GT Academy. I think it might have been the final. As far as I remember, it was with the LMP car, the front engine, front wheel drive LMP car. Yeah, so 2014 I did a lot of it, and I have it written down here actually to remember it. I finished 242nd place in United States in the final round. So that wasn't particularly good, and at this point I just gave up on GT Academy. And I gave up on GT Academy for two reasons actually. I gave up on GT Academy because it was dropping so many people at this point. It didn't really feel possible. Second reason is because of the way they are picking the winners. They would always pick the winners who would not only be fast, but because it's not just competition. GT Academy, the finals in Silverstone, it's not just competition. Fastest guy gets it. It's judged by judges. So one of the things that judges ensure is that the player who wins is not only fast but also social, and I'm just not. And the one time that the guy, not social guy, won was Brian Highcotter, who they didn't want to win. There were, like, I remember when Brian Highcotter won, there were like, a couple of really young, good-looking guys who, like, you know, all outgoing and shit, and the judges, I mean, it was obvious if you watch the finals. I think it was 2011 GT Academy, and if you watch the finals of GT Academy, you can see it's like there is no, they're not hiding it. The judges, when Brian won, the judges were so disappointing. I mean, I thought they were rude. I thought the judges were ridiculously rude because they obviously didn't want him to win, and that really pissed me off about GT Academy. I mean, it's a farce. At this point, I consider it, you know, like my honeymoon with GT Academy was over, and I consider them a farce. And obviously, I'm not saying that, you know, if I could win, I would ignore them. No, and I also give up because after 3 years I was only like 250 United States. Well, probably technically it's 2 years considering I broke my leg in 2013. Yeah, but still it wasn't the result that I expected, so yeah, there is like no argument there. Part of the reason why I gave up was that I wasn't good enough, but there was no motivation for me to get good because I've considered GT Academy a farce at this point. And another problem was that I didn't enjoy GT games anymore. And here's something about GT games. Well, first of all, back in the day, GT Academy was whatever. GT5 was a simulator, right? When GT5 came out, you could consider it a simulator. I mean, iRacing was out, R Factor was out, but GT5 was still sort of on this edge where you could consider it a simulator. It genuinely tried to relay the physics of the cars in realistic fashion to your PlayStation. Unfortunately, when GT6 came out, it used exactly the same everything that GT5 used. There might be, obviously, if you read press releases and you know, news for, you know, the game was coming out, they were praising it, and they were like listing all the new things that, you know, like tire wear and whatever. But the truth is, the change was, well, you couldn't feel the change really. I mean, it was minimal. There was something different, but it was tiny, minimal, and irrelevant. And at that point, there wasn't only iRacing and a Factor. There was Assetto Corsa. There was, you know, what was it called? I don't remember. That was a game. PC Car. Yeah, and actually there was I think N Car as well. You know, there were a lot of. There was just, you could forgive. GT5 was behind the curve, but you could like forgive. It's like it's a simulator for the masses. You could forgive its shortcomings because it wasn't there yet. The other games weren't there yet. But when GT6 came out, there was no progress, and it wasn't a simulator anymore. GT6, for all intents and purposes, is now a arcade game. It's an advanced arcade game, but it is arcade anyway. It's not a simulator. It doesn't simulate anything. So that's another thing that, you know, like when GT5 by the end of the life cycle of GT5, I was playing iRacing because I wanted something more advanced, and just if you play iRacing and GT games, it's just no comparison. GT games nowhere near iRacing level, and that's not a fault. I mean, if you saw my other videos, you know that I played Forza Horizon a lot and enjoyed it. Although, to be said, I think Forza Horizon is, this is, a lot of people will hate me for saying that, but I think Forza Horizon is better games than Gran Turismo games. I think Forza Horizon is also better than Motorsport games, Forza Motorsport games, because I feel that, you know, at this point there is no reason to pretend to be a simulator. And I think that's what GT6 and the latest Forza Motorsport are doing. Forza Horizon is telling you, I'm an arcade game, have some fun. But GT6 and the latest Motorsport game, I feel they are trying to be simulator, maybe too hard a bit. I think they should be a bit more. They should provide a bit more entertaining handling models. They should maybe cheat a little bit with the data or whatever they have, even though I don't know how their data is entirely not accurate regarding the cars. So, you know, they do say that they scan cars and whatever, analyze cars, but that data is nothing like the real cars. So, I don't know, basically I feel like this is my quarrel with it. It's pretending to be something it's not, and the tagline for, you know, I think you see it in one of the pictures that go in slideshows, that the tagline is the real driving simulator, and this is the car that was in the latest round of GT Academy 2014. Anyway, what am I saying? Yeah, that I feel that it is weird to be pretending to be a simulator. You know, there it goes, the real driving simulator. Anyway, yeah, and I when GT6 came out, I was like, I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna see how it is, and if it's not like a simulator, I'm not gonna you know, waste my time in it. It wasn't like a simulator, and instead I played iRacing. I really got into iRacing, did some Assetto Corsa as well, which has great variety of handling models, and just in general more fun to drive those games. And GT games have their purpose, and when I started playing GT games again, it was fun. It's just, you know, this, you get into this bright, beautiful environment with all those beautifully modeled cars, and it is just fun. It is fun, but I don't want to be doing something competitive in cars that have ridiculous handling models. And they had ridiculous handling models for a while, in fact. And that's another thing I wanted to touch up. That when it comes to handling, there are different. There are certainly understeery cars. There are oversteery cars. There are different handling models in the game. But the problem is that they allow you to do setups for cars, which, bit of a tangent, I don't like. I always saw that online racing it's a way to even out the playground between all the people. There are no setups, there is no difference between cars, it's all fair and square, and the best guy wins. Unfortunately, I'm a minority with this opinion, and most of the people, even people who aren't fast, they enjoy getting setups done, and think that, you know, if there wasn't no setups, then the person who would win wouldn't be the best person, but the person whose skill set is the most suited to default setup. Which might be true, but I think, you know, if a driver good enough, they should be able to overcome difference in setups. But yeah, and the problem was, I mean, in iRacing, I don't like fiddling with setup or waiting for someone to give you a setup. I definitely don't like it. I think it makes iRacing worse. But that's my opinion. The problem with GT6 was much more tangible. The thing was that all cars, due to the physics engine of GT games, both 5 and 6, all the cars and all the competitions, well, almost all, like 90%, would be set up to be understeery, including GT Academy, which has default setup. The cars would be understeery, and part of the reason why the cars would be like GT Academy, okay, it's default setup, whatever they do. But the reason why the setups were understeery when they were open setups was because of the power of the BRO technique, as I call it, BRO, brake release oversteer. Due to the whatever shortcomings of the physics engine of GT games, the brake release oversteer is very prominent and very powerful. So when you use brake release oversteer, the car experiences a lot of rotation. So that's why there is no need to set up a balanced car with front and rear downforces and all other balance. There is no need for it, because you compensate for understeer with brake release oversteer, and that made driving for me extremely boring, because as Martin Brundle said in his review of some supercars, he said that understeer is unmistakable sound of disappointment, and it is, because you want the tail to be loose. It's the most fun. When you're just skipping over all the corners, it's when the car is most fun. And amateur cars, well, I guess road cars are always set up for understeer, because understeer is easier to handle than oversteer for amateur drivers. But professional cars do tend to be set up for oversteer, because oversteer is provides more options than understeer. So yeah, oversteer is just more fun. So that's another problem, that I wasn't good. The GT Academy was having criteria that I didn't agree with, other than being fast, and the game wasn't fun because of how prominent the understeer was among the successful setups and the default setups of GT Academy. In fact, I don't know why I'm gonna say that, but you know, I felt that it was clever. I called the game called it Grand Theft Understeer, because it's GT and understeer, because it's all okay. Anyway, I thought at the time that was a clever name, just like BRO is clever for brake release oversteer. And surprisingly, I never heard anyone else use BRO as a name for it. Either way, I mean, I feel like at this point it's just just 30 minutes of bashing the game, but I don't know, I just felt like explaining why I stopped playing the game. And you know, I feel that me playing the game, actually going back and playing the game, is all the evidence of me actually enjoying the game that you need to have. But also be clear on the fact that I am not trying here. I'm not trying to be good at this game. I am good at this game, relatively speaking, because of all my experience, all my racing experience. Because believe me, getting to top 250 in GT Academy out of, I don't know, 100,000 people is not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. So and I got better since then. I feel a lot better. So see my videos, experience my videos as just someone sharing his abilities and knowledge on a factor, factors of sim racing and trying to have fun. I am, I feel that my approach to this video is, why would anyone watch it other than to see for themselves how to accomplish all those gold trophies. So that is my goal, to provide not a perfect. How many people, people who go on YouTube for help with how to complete a quest or whatever, aren't the people who are capable of producing perfect result. And I feel that most of my videos would be a display of affordable, so to put it, accessible ways to deal with the challenges that you see without driving the perfect drive. So yeah, that's my rant over. And despite all that being said, I have to underline it again that I think the game is fun. I don't think the game is fun to be competitive at, but that's again my opinion. There are a lot of people who have leagues, racing leagues and everything for this game, but I say if you want to be competitive in a game, go get yourself iRacing, because iRacing provides a platform for sim racing like no other, for competitive sim racing. And I gotta say, my favorite game as far as physics are concerned and everything else is definitely Assetto Corsa. I think Assetto Corsa is brilliant and great fun, and the only problem is that it doesn't have the kind of amazing in-depth auto matchmaking of iRacing. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish up here, and thank you for watching, and goodbye. Please watch my other videos. Or don't. Bye bye.